All right, so when you hear Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls, you might think, oh, it's a war novel. But really, it's so much more than that. It's this deep, powerful exploration of love, of duty, and, what it even means to be human when you're staring death right in the face. So let's dive into this masterwork and uncover the incredible ideas ticking just beneath its surface.
So the title itself, it comes from this incredibly powerful meditation by the 17th century poet John Donne. And the idea is pretty simple but so profound. We're all connected. No one is an island, right? One person's fate, one person's death, it affects all of us because we're all part of this bigger thing called humanity. And that idea, that's the philosophical core of everything we are about to explore. It's really the central question and, in a way, the ultimate answer of the whole story.
But before we dive right into the book, we have to understand the man behind the words. Seriously, Hemingway's life wasn't just some background noise. His own experiences are absolutely baked into every single word, every gut-wrenching decision his characters have to make. Yeah, from his early days as a journalist to his time as an ambulance driver in World War I, Hemingway was completely shaped by conflict. He saw the trauma, the disillusionment of his era up close, It's what made him such a key voice for that whole lost generation. And having that direct experience with war, wow, it just gave his writing an authenticity, a raw power that few others could even come close to.
And he took all those experiences and channeled them into this really unique writing style he called the Iceberg Theory. The idea is, well, it's brilliant. The true meaning of a story isn't always right there on the page. It's in what's left out, in the things that are never said. So what you're actually reading, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So on the surface, his writing is super direct, right? Short sentences, simple words, lots of focus on action. But look beneath that surface, and that's where the magic is. There's this incredible depth of emotion, these really complex moral questions about courage and loss and sacrifice. The real story, that's happening under the water.
Okay, let's get into the novel itself, because this is where everything we've talked about just comes together perfectly. For Whom the Bell Tolls throws us right into the heart of the Spanish Civil War. But what's so amazing is how it takes this massive, complex war and compresses it into this super intense, personal, high-stakes mission that all happens in just 3 days.
So here's the setup. Our main guy is Robert Jordan. He's an American, and he's fighting for the anti-fascist cause. He has one job: blow up a strategic bridge to stop enemy troops. Simple, right? Well, he only has 72 hours to do it, and to pull it off, he has to win over this band of local guerrilla fighters. We're talking about a mission that could literally change the course of the war. So, yeah, no pressure, right?
So the story just unfolds with this incredible building tension. Jordan shows up, and right away he has to figure out the complex dynamics of this guerrilla group. He's the outsider. He has to somehow earn their trust while they're all dealing with their own fears and loyalties that are just tearing them apart. And all the while, that clock is ticking, 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 down to the final fateful moment at the bridge. And this isn't just any group of fighters either. It's this incredible collection of powerful, deeply conflicted people. You've got Robert Jordan, the idealist, who's torn between his duty and his sudden, intense love for Maria, a young woman who's a survivor of unbelievable trauma. Then there's Pilar, the fierce, almost clairvoyant leader of the group, and her partner Pablo, who's basically a shell of a man, just broken by fear. Every single character represents a different kind of moral response to the absolute brutality of war.
Now, Hemingway does something really masterful here. He uses flashbacks to kind of break open that tight 3-day timeline. And the most powerful one, wow. It's when Pilar describes in really graphic detail this execution of fascist sympathizers that was carried out by her own side. It is a brutal, unforgettable scene that just completely destroys any simple idea of good guys versus bad guys. It shows you that violence, it corrupts everyone it touches. Everyone.
So the mission to blow up the bridge, that's the plot. But what is this story really about? Well, this is where we get to connect all that action back to that John Donne quote from the beginning. It's time to explore those massive themes that are hidden just beneath the surface.
All right, so the first big thematic question the novel tackles is a really human one. Simple, but huge. In a world that is just defined by destruction and death, can love even survive?
And Hemingway's answer is a huge, definite yes. By squeezing Robert and Maria's entire relationship into just 3 insane days, he makes their love feel so incredibly potent. It's like this urgent act of defiance. See, it's not some romantic escape from the war. It's a way of fighting back, of affirming life inside the chaos. And their connection? It makes the stakes of survival and sacrifice so much more personal.
And this brings us to what is maybe the central philosophical conflict of the whole book. It's a tough one. When you're fighting for a cause that you believe in, how much of yourself, your own conscience, your own sense of right and wrong, do you have to sacrifice for the greater good?
And Robert Jordan is living this question every single moment. He absolutely believes in the cause, but at the same time, he's deeply troubled by the brutality and the rigid thinking he sees on his own side. So he's constantly wrestling with it, his duty to the mission versus his own personal judgment. And the book never, ever gives you an easy answer.
So all of these conflicts, love versus duty, life versus death, they all converge in the novel's absolutely iconic and devastating conclusion. And it's right here, in this final stand, that Hemingway completely redefines what it means to be a hero.
So after they blow the bridge, Robert Jordan is gravely injured. He can't escape. So he stays behind with his machine gun, ready to hold off the enemy just long enough to make sure his friends get away. And the book just ends. Right there, in this suspended moment. We don't actually see him die. We're just left inside his head as he waits, completely aware and conscious of the choice he's made.
And that is the absolute genius of this ending. Think about it. Traditional heroism is usually all about victory, glory, some big dramatic action scene. But Hemingway's idea of heroism, it's something completely different. It's what he famously called grace under pressure. It's about having total moral clarity in the worst possible moment and making a conscious, rational sacrifice. Not for a win, not for glory, but for other people.
So in the end, Jordan's final act is the ultimate expression of everything the book is about. His sacrifice isn't really a tragedy, it's a choice. It's the choice that gives his entire life meaning. His death isn't just an isolated event, it's what guarantees that others get to live. It perfectly embodies that very first idea we talked about. The bell tolls for him, yes, but in doing so, it truly tolls for all of us. And in the end, Hemingway leaves us with this massive question that goes way beyond war and politics. It's a question that really gets to the heart of what it means to be human. How do we live a meaningful life when we know death is inevitable? The book suggests it's not really about how we die, but about how our choices, our commitments, and our love for other people, how all of that can give our short time on this earth a deep and lasting meaning.